Good evening and welcome to Sunset News this Sunday evening. As always, we bring you community stories, economic news, weather and sports. I am Glenora Shipura. In the news tonight, missing persons alert. Have you seen Jumbo? Jerkin and Andreas are traveling in Jumbo, a Mercedes, and were last seen in Oneuptwo on Wednesday, the 17th of May 2023. The planned route was via Kaukoland to White Lady Lodge. Last contact was on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Please contact 081 146 2321. I'm going to repeat the number again, 081 146 2321, if you have seen them or have any information. In our next story, Pastor Clive Willemse yesterday launched the Serve the City Give Hope Food Bank project at the Diba Fellowship Church in Windhoek. The mayor of Windhoek, Joseph Wapingene, also indicated his support for the project. Church members seek food donations and collect various items to give to those in need in the capital. Aweda Greg contributed this video.
Our new worship auditorium as a church. So we start this morning with having a fitness session, but in particular we start the celebration with the launch of the Give Hope Food Bank. And the reason why I'm mentioning this morning is important that we started church as Deeper Fellowship in 2020, in March 2020. This is when the church started. It's the weekend of the very first lockdown. This is when Deeper Fellowship Church Namibia started. Now can you imagine, your worship, ladies and gentlemen, that everything locks down. Churches, schools, institutions, shops are closing, and that particular morning the Lord said, you have to start now. Start in your church. And so we immediately recognize that God wants to give birth to something new in the city of Windhoek.
Amen. Let me perhaps start with the official speech first, because the song that was sung here made me to feel, I don't know, like that. Pastor Clive Willemse, Senior Pastor of Deeper Fellowship Church in Namibia, the entire leadership of the church, members of the church community, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm truly honored and blessed to be here today at the launch of this great initiative spearheaded by the Deeper Fellowship Church, Namibia. It can never be stressed enough the important role the church in Namibia is playing in addressing many of the social evils in society. This is indeed a partnership with the city, indeed values. We know the number of schools, hospitals, and early childhood centers that are started and run by the churches countrywide. It is therefore my honor to announce to you the city's commitment and partnership with the Deeper Fellowship Church with regard to the Give Hope Food Bank project.
IPPR's Frederico Links last week launched a new procurement tracker edition highlighting recent events that occurred at Transnamib. According to Links, the company is following in the footsteps of Air Namibia and might face the same fate. This video is by Elizabeth Joseph.
And then, of course, there was the announcement of the pharmaceutical supply tender just 2 weeks ago, the awarding of that tender in late April. And the transparency issues that emerged around that specific tender, that we feel the explanations, the rationales given for why only the unit prices have been given and not the total contract values that have been awarded to specific bidders, and why that is problematic and how this undermines transparency in the system, and why this rate-based procurement is problematic. So I mean, there's an article on that as well in this edition of Procurement Tracker. So that's it. That's the end of my section of the presentation.
In our story of the day, we take a look at the food waste challenge. We get into this story on the other side of the break.
We are so excited to be kickstarting your morning with entertainment. Everything was happening during this past weekend.
Yes.
Exciting news.
Wow, no, she was killing it already.
In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong with him serving the full term.
As well as keeping you informed on the issues that you need to know happening in and around our country.
Getting into our story of the day, we take a look at how one can be a connector of positive change. The Capricorn Foundation is seeking solutions that can create self-sustaining social enterprises to address the issue of food waste in Namibia and create employment for Namibians. Now, enter your proposal for a self-sustaining social enterprise or business venture to address the issue of food waste in Namibia and create employment for Namibians. Now, up for grab is $100,000 million in cash from the Capricorn Foundation for starting or expanding the social enterprise, and a branding refresh and marketing package valued at $50,000 million, sponsored by Synergy Marketing. Now, the deadline for the entries is tomorrow, May the 22nd. Let's take a look at this interview on the importance of the food waste challenge.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined with Rikus Grobler of the Capricorn Foundation. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
You recently launched the second phase of the Food Waste Challenge. Why did you decide to continue with this endeavor?
Sure. Okay. Firstly, food waste hunger is a very critical issue in Namibia, and with the results we received with the first one we did was we said we're open for any idea. It doesn't necessarily have to be executed or a business or anything goes. We were just trying to establish the concept of open innovation, applying creative thinking to solve these issues, etc. And we received a lot of good ideas, made a lot of people think about the issue, and also established the concept of open innovation by incentivizing people to come up with their ideas. But it was still only ideas. And then what we saw was, of the top 10 entries, 6 of these entries were already established businesses. So we said to create even more impact for the second one, we would like to focus specifically on addressing food waste once again, because it is such a critical issue. But this time through establishing a business to address the issue of food waste, because we saw many entrepreneurs are already doing good in that space. And this year the competition is then focused more on starting or growing a business to create more impact, not only ideas this time.
The entries are closing on the 22nd of May.
Yes.
So we have a couple of days left, but you have already started receiving entries. Tell
Yes.
us about how much involvement is there from the public to enter this year?
Sure. So I'm very happy at this stage with how it's going. I checked yesterday and we had over 150 people register on the site, and there was I think 72 or 73 proposals that's already in progress. So there's still time left, and what we saw last year as well, in the last week there's a big spike in entries. So I'm pretty sure there's still some slumbering entrepreneurs out there that's getting their plans together. So yes, I think it's going very well, and it looks at this stage, like I said, there's always a spike in the last week or so. People like to procrastinate, me including. So I think it definitely last year we reached over 100 entries.
Yeah.
and over, I think it was over 200 registered participants. So it looks like we're going to hit that same numbers again.
Wow. You have the opportunity to look through all the entries that you receive. What are you looking for?
Okay, so there's specific criteria that we set out. When you launch such a challenge, it's you want to create impact. So the criteria that we speak to is specifically outlined to reach the objectives of the competition. So the proposals and the participants or the people will notice also that the questions we ask for the proposal is aimed at achieving these objectives. So just very broadly, so we're looking, firstly, the proposal have to address the brief, meaning it has to solve for the issue of food waste, more food that would have been wasted otherwise reaching a hunger person. This year we also focused on employment. You have to establish a social enterprise to that create employment opportunities, and then also create awareness. So it has to address the brief. We're not looking to use a very simple example, but last year we received proposals where people wanted to sell clothes. That has nothing to do with food waste.
Yeah.
Then we're also looking at the impact that the specific proposal will have, and that's obviously theoretical in how you judge it, but you can see from a plan, will it really create impact or not? We're looking for creativity as well, meaning is this a unique approach? Is it fresh? Has it been done before? You solve these things by trying different and new things. So we're definitely looking for an element of newness for the proposals. And then we're looking at issues like planning. Is it properly planned? Will it be able to execute on it? And then lastly, and this is like a wild card criteria, is it inspiring? Will it inspire other people to take action? If you look at last year's winner, Sarah, what she accomplished and how she did it, many people were really inspired by what she achieved and how she did it, and that makes a difference.
And it's wonderful to know that this platform gave her business a fighting.
I definitely look forward into partaking in the food waste challenge. We now take a look at how African economies can unlock Africa's debt solutions. Now, experts champion investments in its digital economy. We take a look at this story after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune into What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Let's get into our economic news. Now, G7 leaders convene in Japan to tackle urgent global concerns, including the Ukraine invasion, climate change, and food insecurity. Simultaneously, African nations prioritize economic recovery from the pandemic and debt risk, with the digital economy emerging as a pivotal driver of employment and growth, projected to dominate the global workforce by 2021. Now, a recent report by the World Bank titled Digital Africa Technological Transformation for Jobs highlights sub-Saharan Africa's significant gap between digital infrastructure availability and actual usage. Bridging this gap would unlock enormous potential for job creation and economic recovery in a highly digitalized world. The fintech industry in Africa is emerging as a vital player in this digital transformation. Between 2020 and 2021, the number of tech startups in Africa tripled, with nearly half of them operating in the fintech sector. These companies are leveraging digital technology to address challenges in healthcare, agriculture, and e-commerce. The COVID-19 pandemic has further accelerated the trend towards digitalization, providing opportunities for new technology players to thrive. Let's take a look at our financial indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 19.41 to the US dollar, and 21.01 to the euro. It trades at 24.16 to the pound and $2 Namibian and 77 cents buys you 1 Chinese yuan. Zinc is down by 1.56% and Brent crude is up by 0.50%, trading at $76 and 24 cents per barrel. After the break, we get into your international news. Do stay tuned.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master.
Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
Let's take a look at our international news. Zelensky says he would like Japan and South Korea to send lethal weapons. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said he would like Japan and South Korea to provide lethal weapons to Ukraine, but he understands there are legislative and constitutional difficulties. He said regarding diplomatic pressure on Russia and certain formats of diplomatic resolution of the war in Ukraine, the key is respect for the UN Charter and international law. Now, Russia has no chance for any diplomatic paths as long as its troops are on our territory in violation of our territorial integrity and sovereignty, he told a news conference at the G7 summit in Japan. We all understand that no one will have anything to do with Russia as long as its troops are on the territory of Ukraine. Zelensky made the comments as part of a series of in-person appeals to fellow leaders gathered in Japan to remain united against Russian aggression. Representatives in our next story, Saudi Arabia and the United States have brokered a 7-day ceasefire between Sudan's warring factions. Now, representatives of both Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy Mohammed Hamdan Daglo signed up to the ceasefire in Jeddah, where they also agreed not to seek any military advantage before it commences on Monday night at 21:45 local time. It will be automatically renewed until we reach a permanent ceasefire through mechanisms we will discuss in the coming days to achieve confidence between the parties and for more humanitarian services for the Sudanese citizen, said Ali Jafar, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to Sudan. After the break, we get into your weather predictions for tomorrow. Good evening and welcome to Sunset News.
Dutch stays on list A in his speech, rate in Texas, and how much.
After the break, we take a look at the sports.
We bring you
economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyong. Let's take a look at the weather predictions for tomorrow. Sunny and hot weather is expected in the north with Nana at 34 degrees maximum and Wakarna at 33 degrees maximum. Partly cloudy weather is expected along the coast with a high of 22 degrees in Walvis Bay and 20 degrees in Henties Bay. We now get into our sports news. Manchester City supporters can look forward to a party atmosphere at the Etihad Stadium today after securing the Premier League title on Saturday. Pep Guardiola's men were expecting to need a win over Chelsea on Sunday to retain their crown. However, Arsenal's 1-0 defeat at Nottingham Forest yesterday meant the Blues were crowned champions without kicking a ball. Let's take a look at this video on their journey.
The time has come to bring on the champions.
Guys, go out there and make our stamp that we are the champions. Because until May, June, we have it. It belongs to us. And we fight to take it again.
Listen, boys, we had a decent start so far, but we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here. Let's start strong and aggressive, boys. Come on!
A compelling game at St James's Park.
Did you enjoy? I loved it. It's enough.
I want to see the character that you have, because you have it. And you do it 1,000 million times, you have to prove it again.
Fiery couple of hours later.
I push you more to be more perfect, guys. I push you to be more perfect. They will not forgive you.
What did you make of Man City? So they're losing ground and Arsenal are absolutely fine.
We have to take responsibility. You have to feel it. Otherwise for nothing.
How many seasons can you keep this up for?
They need to have the drive.
Doesn't look right, does it, at City at the moment?
Maybe there's gonna be other priorities.
Era's end. Is it coming to an end?
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves. Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again. And the best thing we have is that now we've done it and they think, oh, they're tired and we want to do it again. And that's when we get big.
To win something, the most important thing, you have to deserve it. Deserve it. You want to play? You want the ball? You want to move? You want to fight? As a brother?
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
I'm not moving from this seat. I can assure you. Now, more than ever.
I want my Warriors. Attack everyone and defend everyone. Because everything we are doing is we want the kids. Always. I love the club. Let's go.
Table doesn't lie. These two have been the best in the land this season.
If they want this crown, if they want it, they have to fight. Don't give it.
Manchester City look like true champions.
I want to see the team that we have won the last years is playing every single game to win the Premier League.
Vamos! Manchester City have set the standards in this league.
With it, come on.
Until the last week, it doesn't matter what happened, fight for the win the Premier League. Yes?
The winners and still the champions of the land, Manchester City.
Now, in our next story, Jeremiah Nakatilia of Namibia suffered a second-round technical knockout at the hands of America's Raymond Mortella in Las Vegas this morning.
Buckleton lands, right hand comes in, and another right hand comes in, and Murataya is doing damage, and that's it. He turns it on at the end of round 2 and scores a TKO victory. Raymond Murataya all of a sudden found some offense, never relented, and comes up with a big, big win.
That's a statement right there, Tess. That's sending a message to the entire division. I know we got the undisputed championship right now. That's going to be happening tonight, but I'm going to...
As the DStv Premiership wrapped up, Namibian international footballer Peter Shalulile, who plies his trade for Mamelodi Sundowns, has won the DStv Premiership Golden Boot 3 times in a row. For this season, he is joined by Kenyasha Mayo of Cape Town City, as they both have 12 goals each for their respective clubs. We get into the highlights shortly. Let's take a look at the news highlights from today's broadcast. Pastor Clive Willemse yesterday launched the Serve the City Give Hope Food Bank project at the Diba Fellowship Church in Windhoek. The mayor of Windhoek, Joseph Wapingene, also indicated his support for the project. Now church members seek food donations and collect various items to give to those in need in the capital. Saudi Arabia and the United States have brokered a 7-day ceasefire between Sudan's warring factions. As the DStv Premiership wrapped up, Namibian international footballer Peter Shalulile, who plies his trade from Mamelodi Sundowns, has won the DStv Premiership Golden Boot 3 times in a row. And with that, we've come to the end of the broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all the NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, oneuptwo.com. Now, Sunset News screens on DStv channel 285 and GoTV channel 25 every weekday, and on Sundays from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I am Glenora Shipura, and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us.